Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. This is the CoinFund Portfolio Companies Showcase. It's the end of New York City Blockchain Week. It's Friday at 6 p.m., so thank you so much for making it out at this time. I'm super excited to have all of the incredibly talented folks that we know and study as a fund in the same room, and I hope that you get to meet some of them. I want to be super brief, and then what we will do is we will invite our companies up on stage and ask them to be very, very brief, literally 2 to 3 minutes, and talk a little bit about what they're doing and what their project is all about. And then we'll have a couple of special guests at the end, namely Mattereum and 3box will also say a few words. So just to introduce our portfolio companies, CoinFund is a crypto fund. We've been a crypto fund since July 1st, 2015, and last year launched our second vehicle in partnership with the partners at Benrock. And a lot of times I get asked, what is a crypto fund? So I will tell you what I think that is. The blockchain space is incredibly diverse. It has an incredible amount of people in it from different backgrounds. It has an incredible number of verticals, companies building very, very different products. And it has an incredible amount of approaches to the technology. And a crypto fund, to me, is a fund that has to deal with that kind of asset class and find a way of investing in it without going insane. And so as a result, CoinFund, has had the pleasure to invest in many different kinds of verticals, in companies of many different kinds of stages, and also in different kinds of asset classes, from digital assets to equity to other things. And in the future, we might even be investing in totally new asset classes and totally new technologies that we've never seen before, like DAOs or electronic cats. What I usually like to say is that CoinFund is a full stack investor. So we invest in the decentralization stack at the base layer into middleware, and on occasion into dApps, even though it's pretty early. And we also invest in the traditional companies and startups that enable this space to thrive. It gives it banking services that allows them to compliantly issue tokens, to provide infrastructure and analytics. The companies that you will hear from tonight, I think, represent an incredible sampling of talent across experience, domain expertise, approach, and product. There are people here who are veteran entrepreneurs. There are people here who are first-time founders. There's that domain expertise here from cryptography to streaming video to computer infrastructure and many, many other things. And they also represent different kinds of investments for CoinFund. Again, ranging from very VC style, early stage kind of equity investments, the SAFTs or notes for digital assets, and finally to the liquid assets themselves that in the end of the day are produced by the decentralized networks that we're all building here. And even beyond that, this past year we've done a lot of work in what we call generalized mining, which is putting those liquid assets to use. And I'm very happy to see Livepeer here, which is one of the best case studies of a crypto-economic mechanism where participants in that network can earn returns, as well as NuCypher, who has recently proposed something called a work lock, which is an innovation of that mechanism. So I'm very happy to hand it over to our companies. I think we're going to start with CoinList. And the speaker is Andy Bromberg. Thank you once again for coming, and I hope that you enjoy the presentation.
All right, hey everyone, can we give a round of applause to CoinFund for putting this event together? So a testament to them that we are all out here on a Friday at 6 p.m. So thank you guys for doing this. It's really awesome. Yeah, woo, go team. So we are CoinList. These things are popping up a little out of order, so maybe we can just put them all up on the screen, whoever's controlling that thing. But we're CoinList. My name is Andy Bromberg, the president and one of the co-founders, and we are tasked with, almost there, helping the world's top crypto projects grow, many of whom are in this room today. So by way of history, we started off as a joint venture between AngelList and Protocol Labs. Protocol Labs was building Filecoin. They were going to run their token sale. They needed help. They called AngelList. AngelList helped them, and then they realized everyone needed that same set of services for every single token sale that was going to happen over the next few years. And so we spun out in 2017 as an independent company. We went on to raise money from some of the best investors in the space. CoinFund, first in that list, obviously, and then Polychain Capital and Accomplice and many others invested in us back in 2017 to do this mission and help the top crypto projects grow. We started with token sales, helping them handle compliance, their KYC, their AML, their logistics of running the token sale, the transaction processing, all that nitty-gritty stuff that token projects shouldn't have to deal with. And we went on and helped projects like Filecoin and Algorand, Origin, Handshake, Blockstack, and many others raise more than $450 million over the first 18 months of our existence. And now we're helping projects more broadly than that. We're doing more than token sales. We're helping, first of all, just with advice, being a friendly face. So if you ever need help thinking about a token sale or distribution or anything else, reach out to us. We love to be helpful however we can. We help with raising money. So that compliance suite, we help actually with these full sales and marketing the sales and putting them up on our platform and helping attract investors. And we help build developer communities. This is something we're really excited about. We launched the CoinList Build, which is a product to help online hackathons happen for these top crypto projects. We work with NuCypher. I know where you guys are in the room, but ran an awesome hackathon with NuCypher, some amazing projects there. 0x, The Graph, also here, doing a hackathon right now. It's awesome. So if you want to do a hackathon, come talk to us and we'll help make it happen. And beyond that, we're doing some other things with liquidity. We're helping build a lending product, enabling more liquidity for crypto assets, eventually a trading venue. And after that, airdrops to users to build community adoption. At the end of the day, we're here to help the top crypto projects like all of you in this room grow and succeed. If you need help with that, reach out anytime. I'm Andy at CoinList.co. Adrian and Mike as well at CoinList.co are here. And come chat with us. We love to help. Thank you.
Hey, so I'm Yaniv with the Graph, and the Graph is a query protocol for Web3. So the problem that we solve is as soon as you try to build an application on top of a blockchain like Ethereum, you quickly realize that you can't actually do that directly on like a blockchain node by like hitting Ethereum directly. And that's because you need data to be organized and indexed before you can run queries and fetch the data that you need for your application. And so there's this kind of entire layer that's been missing from the stack for Web3. And so what most projects have had to do that are trying to build applications on blockchains is there's kind of one of two options. One is they can try to build a proprietary indexing server, so they have to write a bunch of code and operate servers to actually run these databases, and they can try to hit that from their applications. Or they can try to sync everything on the client, which is really slow. So, for example, if any of you have used Augur, you probably had that experience where you have a desktop app that syncs for hours or even longer. And so none of these two options are really great for apps. So what we're building is this global decentralized network of indexing nodes that can index the data and make it available to clients really fast. And we also solve like this incentive issue with how do you get these nodes to get data to clients quickly and efficiently. So we open sourced our Graph node July of last year. We launched our hosted service in January. So we're starting by just getting a bunch of apps building on top of us, and while we're working on decentralizing the rest of the components, and we publish our specs for our hybrid network, and that's going to be our next kind of milestone. But right now, we have a bunch of projects that are building on top of us, and people are deploying new, what we call subgraphs every day. And we're just growing this global API of all of this data that's indexed, organized, accessible, and as eventually we index more and more data, it's just going to be that much easier for anyone to come and build an app on Web3. And that's what we're really excited about. Is we really think Web3 is going to be the next big platform, and that eventually all applications are going to move to this kind of infrastructure that provides strong guarantees for developers and for users, and that's what we're all about. So thank you very much. You can check us out at Dapper.
Hi, I'm Mickey Maher with Dapper Labs. I'm head of partnerships and revenue at Dapper Labs, and I'll try to get it all in because we're doing a lot. So Dapper Labs, our goal is to bring the first 1 billion users to the blockchain. And we think that games and entertainment apps are the best avenue for doing that. So about 1.5 years ago, we created something called CryptoKitties. I assume most, if not everyone, has heard of CryptoKitties, so I won't speak too much about that. But it was the first game on the blockchain, or at least the first that anyone knows about. We invented the ERC 721 standard, which is for non-fungible tokens. We crashed Ethereum. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people were happy about that. And we became a phenomenon, and we made quite a bit of money doing it as well. So it was a good start to a company, and we've grown since then. But what's most important, I think, about CryptoKitties from a company perspective is the knowledge we've gained and the learnings that we have as a company from doing that. So we've taken those learnings and we've decided as a company that content and fun content is going to drive users to the blockchain. So at Dapper Labs, we're creating content. But what else we've learned, and almost more, as important or more important, is that the technology in the space is very, very early, somewhat archaic, and full of friction. So if you want to drive 1 billion users to the blockchain, the current technology stacks, the current interfaces, the current wallets, at least in their form today, just won't allow that, right? So if we're creating good content with the goal of driving users, millions, billions of users to the blockchain, we also have to improve on that technology. So we're building technology products to help our own initiative as a game and entertainment studio, but also help the market, the DApp market as well. So early this week on Monday, we launched the first smart contract wallet called the Dapper Interface. And then in terms of content, we've released now our second game after CryptoKitties. We announced it today. It's called Cheese Wizards. If you want early access, you can go to cheesewizards.com. It is a tournament-style battler, leveraging NFTs. And it will launch sometime soon, but you can get early access today at cheesewizards.com. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Lena with GeoProtocol, happy to be here. So basically GeoProtocol creates a universal ecosystem for value transfer networks. Our solution is to build lightweight, sustainable and cost-efficient network that can process financial transactions between different value hubs. Some of these hubs can be cryptocurrency networks, others traditional financial institutions or even any custom asset networks. GeoProtocol itself is not a blockchain per se. There is no common ledger. There is no network-wide consensus. Consensus is reached locally, exclusively among the nodes that participate in a particular transaction. Thanks to that, the protocol is extremely lightweight and the node can be launched even from a smartphone. GeoProtocol enables a wide variety of applications, as you can see, such as payment solutions, cross-border payments, IoT solutions, loyalty programs, voting systems, clearing systems, cross-chain DAX, etc. So a couple words about our recent progress. We have launched beta recently. We have built an application, a payment application on top of Geo protocol that is currently used by more than 10,000 people. We have 4 commitments from exchanges to onboard the protocol in the nearest future. And last but not least, we closed seed round with CoinFund recently. A couple words about our nearest plans. We are about to launch the mainnet by the end of the year. We are ready to introduce multi-asset transactions in the next couple of months. And we are in negotiations with several IoT solutions that are willing to integrate the network in the nearest future. We're constantly expanding, looking for developers, looking for potential partners, so please feel free to reach out. The Geo protocol team has been around since 2015, and it's close to 20 people as of right now. And in the true spirit of decentralization, we are a distributed team, distributed all around the globe. And actually, a couple of team members traveled all the way from Europe to New York specifically for this event tonight. Team members, please identify yourself in the crowd, raise your hands. So here they are. Now you know who to talk to when I'm done, and I'm done. Thank you very much for your attention. CoinFund team, thank you for your continued support.
Hey, I'm John. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Editional. If you haven't heard of us, I'd appreciate it if you went on your iPhone right now and you went to the App Store and you download Editional. We're the first mobile application to let you create, collect, claim, and redeem NFTs right on your phone. Anyone can come in and do this. I don't have slide control. Can we do the next slide? Cool. So the way this basically works is you pull out your phone, and just like an Instagram or a Twitter or a Facebook, if you're an artist or a creator, you can go and create something, send it out to the blockchain, put a limited number of editions on it, and all of your followers and all of the other people in Editional will come rushing in and try desperately to grab a copy of what you've created, an edition of what you've created, before they're all gone. And then once you have them, because we're on the blockchain, we have a set of partners like OpenSea. We're on the secondary market. You can take these things, you can bring them over, and you can actually put them up for sale. So in our first week, one of our co-founders created this item on the right here, this kind of deep learning tree piece of art. And within 8 hours, it had sold for $200 on OpenSea. Very easy, all free, costs nothing. About 50% of our users have never heard of blockchain before. They're just excited about getting involved in a market where people can own their things. Can we go to the next slide? And it's really fun. It's very social. You can come in here, you can chat with the owners and the creators, you can look at your library, you can share it, you can connect externally. We launched 2 weeks and a couple days ago, and over 35,000 editions have already been created and distributed onto the blockchain, and we're one of the fastest growing applications created, especially in the NFT space and certainly on mobile. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Slava, and I'm a founder of Relevant. Relevant is both a protocol and a dApp. So the best way to describe the dApp is a decentralized Reddit with a reputation system and a prediction market. And the overarching problem we're trying to solve is the crisis of trust in social media. So the way we're approaching this is looking at the information ecosystem as a market, right? And in this market, today, user attention is the main asset. So that creates a lot of incentives to maximize user engagement. But unfortunately, it does not create incentives to improve content quality. So what we've done is design a market based around content as the underlying asset. So the way we do this is through a reputation system, which is Sybil resistant, and is able to quantify and measure the value of content. So because we have this manipulation resistant metric, we're able to build a prediction market on top of that. So the end result is enabling an ecosystem that's much healthier and is also able to allow creators and curators of content to monetize their value. So this all exists. It's live, it's a browser app and a mobile app. The reputation system is working. We have the token live on the Ethereum mainnet, and users earn these tokens as they're using the app. We have a very active, growing user base, sharing very high quality content. So check it out at relevant.community. And if you have any questions, we'd love to answer them later on. Thank you.
So I gotta put this disclaimer up. I'm not soliciting any money. My lawyer made me do this. I'm sorry. And it's up for enough time now. I think almost it's supposed to be 28 seconds. But let's start. So my name is Yonatan, and I'm with Props. Props is a project that intends to change the way power is distributed across internet networks. Think of some of your favorite apps, your Uber, your Instagram, your Snapchat, your YouTube. These are actually networks worth hundreds of billions of dollars, but all of that value usually ends up in the hands of very few and doesn't flow to the millions of power users that are actually driving these networks. When Snapchat IPO'd for $25 billion, content creators saw $0. When Uber IPO'd just 2 weeks ago, their drivers went to the streets and protested. So what Props, what that shows is this incredible disconnect between the value of networks and the value that users actually get. What Props tries to do is to bridge that gap and better align these networks. And we have a lot of experience in that. We've been running YouNow, a live video app with 46 million registered users, over $60 million in revenue generated over the years from the sales of an in-app currency that we launched in 2014. We've been sharing the revenues of that currency with our content creators, but when they came up to us and pointed to this problem and disproportionate allocation of the value that is generated on the network, we listened very carefully. And that's how Props came to life. 2 years ago we started building it in order to turn the social capital that is generated on internet networks into a stake in the network. And the way to do that, in our view, is not by rebuilding the internet from the ground up in a decentralized way, which is a noble but a very, very difficult task. We thought about going to where users are already spending time and engaging, and how we take the value on these networks, tokenize them, and allocate it differently. And we do that through a particular incentive structure that we've created. The way it works is that Props are kind of like your proof of work in the app. The more work you do as a user in an app, the more Props you earn. In that sense, they're kind of like loyalty points. But they're a loyalty point system with a killer feature. You can cash them out, or you can hold on to them, benefit from in-app perks, and have them attached to the value of the network, assuming once exchanges are up and live, etc. So, with all of that in mind, what we're trying to do right now is go to regular apps. We've created this token, this blockchain infrastructure, we've wrapped it into very simple APIs, and any app that wants to deploy this kind of loyalty system with a killer feature and better align with their best, most valuable users can do that, drive more value for these users, and ultimately grow the network, benefit from currency network effects, and kind of do the right thing by their users. Thank you very much.
All right, my name is Eric Turner, and I'm the head of research at a crypto asset data company called Messari. So Messari really was created because we believe in some core things. So Clearly, we think crypto assets can become a multi-trillion-dollar asset class because whatever you look at, if you look at DeFi, for example, everything just aligns incentives a lot better than traditional markets. But the big problem that we noticed was the data that we have right now in the crypto asset space isn't good enough to really bring in institutions and investors that we want to see. So if you look at the space now, we have a big issue with transparency. You know, blockchain networks, it's easy to see things on chain, but it's very hard to actually understand that information, especially for people that are new to the space. So just in some research that we've been doing, we noticed a couple of things. We noticed some discrepancies in supply for XRP. We noticed a bug in the Stellar blockchain. And those are just things that in conducting research we were able to find, and we really don't expect, you know, a new user coming into the space to understand. The second problem is, a big issue with transparency isn't that token projects don't want to disclose things, it's that it's difficult to disclose things in this space. So if you think about projects giving updates, they're usually spread all over the place. So they're in Telegram, they're on Twitter, they're in Discord. It's very hard to find and aggregate all of this information. And then the last thing is there's just a lack of standards. So even with existing crypto asset data companies that are giving us this data, you know, we just don't have the standards that allow us to, you know, have understandable metrics that you can use across the space. So some of the ways that we've been looking at this is, first of all, we've created a disclosures registry. So this registry has about 35 projects on it right now. And we have projects that are committed to providing information to us on an ongoing basis and being transparent. So it's really baseline information if you think about it. It's who's on the team, who are the contributors, who are the investors, how is the token sale conducted, where are the treasury where's the treasury wallet, what are the token supply details, what are the vesting contracts, things like that. And then building on top of that, we've created a data dashboard called OnChainFX, and that has about 100 data points across 500 different assets. So that's price, market cap, volume, staking information, on-chain information, everything like that. And the big key, what we do there is we focus on creating methodologies that make sense. So looking at what the real price, the real volume, removing wash trading, and things like that, and then publicly publishing these methodologies so that others in the space can use them. And then we bring that all together with our news, research, and profiles. So we have profiles on about 5,000 different projects in the space, or 5,000 different organizations, people, and projects in the space. And we allow you to search and screen all of those things. So what we want to do is we want to create a platform where institutional investors, new users in crypto, really anybody can go and create custom screeners, searches, save what they want, and really understand the crypto asset space while really trusting the data that they have. So I think the best way, instead of slides, to really check it out, go to Messari.io or find me afterwards, and we can talk about it.
Hi, I'm Konstantin Richter. I'm the CEO and founder of Blockdeerde. We're a nodes as a service company. We manage nodes across multi-cloud infrastructure. We can, actually, it's me, so here we go. We've been around for 18 months. A lot has changed since. When we started a full node management company back then, nobody was interested in nodes. Everybody thought you do an API abstraction and don't care about decentralization or ownership of data. That has changed a lot, and so have we. So at this today we deploy 14 different protocols across 4 different clouds. We run nodes in containers and move them around across those different clouds based on a decentralization algorithm that we operate. We also provide SLAs and monitoring. Specifically, the monitoring is something we've learned the hard way because there's VM monitoring that we're used to in the cloud, and then there's very blockchain specific and protocol specific. Automatically heal a node in time so the network actually physically doesn't suffer. We're working with around 20 sort of enterprise grade projects, got a ton of usage. And the customer base is normally somebody who likes to pay for performance and security in the space. Permission networks, staking now becomes a larger sort of thing, and we've got some staking projects that we now also support. Now, you might ask yourself, when I talk about decentralization, aren't you guys then creating a decentralized hub when we kind of orchestrate all these nodes across the cloud? So I just want to give a sort of little view ahead. In 60 days, we're launching a blockchain packaged management tool. And what that allows us to do is actually, we throw a piece of software on a Linux environment, for example, it blows up a node that connects back to our data center and to our dashboard, but the node is actually controlled behind the firewall on-prem, wherever it sits. So really bring your own infrastructure, so we can't actually control the node. You can set permissions on it. So if you want us to, we can contractually agree to manage the node. If not, all we do is have a finger on it and we send you an alert when we know it's going to go down, and then you have to deal with it yourself. But what I urge you to do, if nothing else, come to our website. If you're excited about the space, maybe think about deploying a full Bitcoin node. You can support the network. If you have pity for Stellar and the network going down, we actually deploy full validators, and they need some more. So thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is MacLane Wilkison. I am the co-founder and CEO of NuCypher. NuCypher is a data privacy and access control layer for decentralized applications and protocols. So you would use NuCypher as part of your tech stack if you're building, let's say, a healthcare application on top of Ethereum and you're storing patient medical records in IPFS. And we basically allow those records to stay confidential and encrypted, but still shareable with a valid recipient. So in this example, like being able to share those encrypted records with a doctor or hospital or insurance company. The last few months, we have been running a private federated testnet with a bunch of our early investors and staking partners like CoinFund. A lot of developers have also been building against that testnet through hackathons like we've done with CoinList. In the next few weeks, we're going to make that federated testnet public, meaning that anyone can hit up a testnet faucet, grab tokens, stake those tokens, and run a testnet node. We are also, assuming that public testnet goes well and everything is stable and mature, we'll run that for a few months, and then we'll start looking to launch mainnet later this year. And right before that, we're going to do something called a work lock. And most of you are probably, what the heck is a work lock? Well, it's basically this new way to do a token distribution that we've created, building on a lot of the great work by Livepeer with their Merkle mine. And basically, what the work lock does is it tries to filter for the right types of token holders. So in our case, people who will stake the NuCypher token and use that token to run nodes and provide work to the network. And the way the work lock works is, as a participant, you would send ETH to the work lock contract. That ETH will get escrowed into the smart contract. You'll receive back NuCypher tokens that are stake locked. And what I mean by stake locked is that you can stake those tokens, you can run a node, but you can't trade them, you can't otherwise transfer them out. After you've staked and run a node with those tokens for a certain amount of time, the NuCypher tokens themselves will unlock and you'll be able to transfer them like any other ERC20 token. And you'll also get back all of the escrowed ETH. So the ETH that you escrow kind of provides the skin in the game to make sure you actually follow through and run the node. But we are not taking any of it. If you do what we want you to do, you're getting sort of both the NuCypher tokens and all of your ETH back. We talk a lot more in detail about the mechanics of how this works and what some of our motivations are. If you want to check out this blog post, if you're interested in the details. And then I guess I'll also throw in an update on the research work that we've been doing around fully homomorphic encryption. I don't have it up here on the slide because I ran out of room. But last year we released our new FHE library, which basically accelerates some of the existing fully homomorphic encryption schemes using GPUs. And for those of you who aren't familiar with fully homomorphic encryption, it's basically this idea that in the same way you can process and do any kind of computation on plain text data, fully homomorphic encryption gives you a way to process and do any arbitrary computation on encrypted data. And our new FHE library is currently, as far as we know, the fastest FHE library in the world. We're doing some additional work to make it even faster, working on some open research questions like solving ciphertext expansion and making it easier to build applications that consume that library. I'll stick around after. Feel free to email me at MacLane@NuCypher.com, and thanks for coming out.
I don't need the clicker because we only have one slide. 2 to 3 minutes is not enough time to go through all of our stuff, so I'm just going to talk at you for 2 minutes. I'm Monica, and I'm the head of research and networks at Kadena. And when Jake gave the intro and he said that CoinFund is a full stack VC, we are all the way at the bottom of the stack. We are a base layer protocol, and Kadena is making a full tool suite for everybody, businesses, crypto native applications, developers, to build on top of a system that will fully support them in whatever it is that they're trying to do. So we have a permissioned blockchain. We started out as an enterprise software development company, and a smart contract language that is designed to be super simple, really easy to use. It's Turing incomplete and has full formal verification built in. And now we also are launching a public proof of work blockchain. So we have all of the things covered. We like to say that if CryptoKitties had launched on Kadena, you never would have had scaling problems with CryptoKitties, because we can do performance, throughput, and scalability on Chainweb, and your smart contracts are easy to write and simple to understand. So right now, we have a lot of very exciting things going on our development roadmap. We said that we were going to launch testnet on March 26th, and by God, on March 26th, we launched testnet. Since then, we have 3 more testnets coming down the pipe, and mainnet launch date is officially, we announced this week, October 30th. So we are sticking to that date too. In addition, we also have a lot of really awesome client partnerships that I can't tell you all about because I only have 3 minutes, but I'm going to tell you about one of them, which is really super cool. We have signed a partnership with a $3 billion asset management company, and we're moving forward on that. It's going to be super awesome. So we have almost the entire team here, including co-founders and engineers and PR people. So come find us, talk to us. Happy to tell you about everything we're working on.
Hello everybody, my name is Eric Tang, and I am from the Livepeer project. I love Doge, but I don't work for Doge. Livepeer was created to kind of rethink how video infrastructure can work from the ground up. When we first created the internet back in the 70s and the 80s, we were thinking about how to transfer text kind of between computers. And as the internet evolved over the years, we kind of just built on top of that assumption. So all the things that we did to make video work on the internet today are basically just one hack after another to try to make this thing kind of work and cobble it together, right? And the result of that is we have very unscalable infrastructure, and it comes at a very high price. And this is a problem for the entire internet, because that means monopoly companies like these large companies like YouTube or even Facebook, they can dominate the market by artificially keeping the price high. And because it's so expensive to compete with them, no one can compete with them. So what Livepeer does is, using the blockchain, it creates a completely new architecture that makes video 10 to 50 times cheaper on the infrastructure level. And what that allows you to do is to build completely new applications with new business models that simply cannot exist before without the blockchain in the first place. So we've been working on this project for about 2.5 years, and the network has been live for 11 to 12 months. And in this past year or so, we've seen pretty awesome community that's kind of just grew out of nowhere. We have many companies in the ecosystem building tools and applications for the ecosystem. We have a lot of token holders who are participating in this in this economic game of staking tokens and getting rewards and running nodes, kind of bootstrapping this infrastructure that's possible because of the crypto incentive that's made possible with the blockchain. In the next 6 to 12 months, we're bringing our technology to the video industry, who have heard about blockchain from their friends but have never really tried or looked into what it is. So our goal is to bring this disruptive technology, productize it, and install it into the video industry, and be a huge disruptive force in a big way there. I'll be around for a little bit, and feel free to come and ask me any question you have.
Great, thanks. Thanks to CoinFund for having us as a special guest. I'm Michael, co-founder of 3box, and we're a fairly new project, so spend the next 3 minutes telling you what we are. So 3box really is aiming to solve the way user data is managed online. And to do that, we've built a distributed storage network where application developers can save and manage user data that's not on a central server or a blockchain. And so really what we're aiming to build is more trusted infrastructure that gives users consent and control of their information online in a way that was never possible before. Unlike a lot of the other projects here, we don't make specific use of the blockchain, but rather provide infrastructure to developers building blockchain-based applications. And that's just the start. Next one. Next one. There we go. Cool. So to deliver this first, there's been a trail of people that have tried this, ranging from big companies to startups, but our go-to-market's by providing 3 APIs. So we offer one for profiles, one for storage, and one for messaging. And we think that this suite of APIs really makes it easy to build interactive and social, scalable distributed apps, because this type of information doesn't and probably shouldn't live on chain, but is rather required to be managed in a distributed way if you want to provide your users the types of guarantees that you are promising with your distributed app. And like, why would you choose 3box versus any other sort of infrastructure? And the value props really range depending on who you're selling to. But really what our approach is and thinking is that a minimum viable distributed app is an app where all logic can be centralized, user data is stored, distributed with users, and financial assets are managed on a distributed ledger. And so we're really providing that third piece to actually making Web3 a reality. So you can build lighter weight apps, you can build apps that engage and actually delight users with experiences that they're used to on Web 2, because buy, sell, and transfer isn't the only thing that people do online. If you remember back to 2016 when Bologniacs had the troll box, for those of you that were around then, 95% of activity was chatting and trolling, and only 5% was buying and selling. And we have yet to see that translate into Web3 experiences. And lastly, obviously, the risk model is reduced by storing data with users, not on their own servers. One more. Cool. And so the 2 main ways that we deliver this today, we have 3box.js library, so a JavaScript client lives with the users where all information is handled and managed right in the browser, so users don't have to download, install anything, or run a node themselves. It exposes the 3 APIs I already mentioned. And if you want to see it in action, we built a hub app. It lets you create your social profile, see your favorite collectibles, and manage your data. So check it out, 3box.io hub. Thank you.
Alright, so while we were waiting for the inevitable weirdness, I was the project manager for the Ethereum launch. First year being paid 100% in anonymous digital cash was 1999. Used to work for the Department of Defense, directly reporting to the Chief Information Officer, defining cryptographic systems for use in Iraq and Afghanistan in an unclassified setting. That's a long story. I spent the last couple of years working on probably the hardest problem in blockchain space, which is how do we get legally binding control of physical assets using blockchain?
So that legally binding control question is the thing which sits underneath everything to do with supply chain. It sits under everything to do with trade finance. It sits under everything to do with tokenization. It sits under everything to do with issuing of security tokens. You need legal control of the underlying assets before you can do anything at all. So I got together a team of lawyers and technologists 2 years ago, and we have cracked the problem. It's a three-step solution. Step one is what we call asset passporting, which gives you legally rigorous definitions of what an asset is, backed by consequential loss insurance contracts. So if the object is not the way you think it is, somebody will pay you when you take damage from that fact. And those structures allow you to manipulate objects only going from blockchain definitions because you're legally backed. Second step is a thing we call automated title holders, and the automated title holders are a commercial infrastructure which allows for legally binding asset transfer to happen only on the blockchain. So you update a smart contract, and immediately you're the legal owner of the physical asset. That approach can work very rapidly in English common law jurisdictions, and it should be extendable to anywhere which has standard corporation law. The third step is a set of machinery for taking these legally bound assets and connecting them into smart contracts for third parties, such as, for example, MakerDAO. We are launching a collaboration, with the video, and then we're almost done. So this is where we're starting. It's an asset passport project with this guy.
So I'm announcing that I'm partnering with Mattereum and other technology creators to establish an authentication system. For the first time, blockchain technology creates a way for fans, collectors, and dealers to know everything they need to know about an item easily, clearly, and with absolute certainty. This new service creates a kind of digital twin for your property, be it an action figure, a classic automobile, piece of fine art. It provides an irrefutable, internationally recognized proof of authenticity. With it, we can know where an item has been, who has owned it, and if it is genuine. It can mean the difference between a priceless future heirloom or a worthless fake. A chip, a token, my signature, and a number. One of a kind. I'm looking forward to seeing what the technologies of the blockchain have to offer going forward. Thank you.
So we think it's a fairly big step forward for the space to get a celebrity of Shatner's magnitude helping out. If anybody has crypto projects handling things like sale of digital audio files, they're very interested in working with other people in the space. If anybody has things that Shatner's people could use, come talk to me. If you want to take pictures yourself with the Shatner artifact you just saw, he's retweeting this stuff on a pretty regular basis. There's a picture of me and David Chon that he just retweeted, which is just for the archives. And we have a really seriously weapons-grade set of legals underneath this thing, because the same set of legals you can use to authenticate, a few $100 worth of Star Trek figure, you can also use for something like jet engines, in trade finance, pharmaceuticals. The legal constructs are the same. The only question is how big is the insurance contract. So, yeah, here we are. Thank you.